When our body changes and our voice changes, even if they've never met us before, they can hear those subtle cues.
Every day, you might be communicating things that you didn't even mean to share. Let's examine the messages we might be sending with our body language and voice.
When we are in front of a room and we want to sell them something, give them some knowledge, get them enrolled in our idea, our voice and our posture and our body language are the things that we're going to use, and our face. Don't forget about your face. This is what people look at the most, quite frankly. And so we need to use all of these things and use them in the way that works for you. Voice is one of those things that we all have, and we think we're born with it. And the voice we have is the voice we have. And to some degree, that's true. But in reality, our body is a delivery system for our voice. And we have access to so many different vocalizations. And those vocalizations are influenced by our mindset. So what your mind is telling you, your voice is betraying you. Let's say I'm going to tell you a little white lie. Well, what's going to happen in my body? I know I'm telling a little white lie. And so my body might tighten up a little bit somewhere in across my chest, and my neck gets a little tighter. And in doing that, my voice gets a little strained. And when I tell you that, I might cough because my voice has been strangled. Now, that's a really obvious sign, and not everybody is going to show that obvious of a sign when lying. But there are those subtle signals. Are you breathing only from your throat and your chest? And that shallow breathing gives you very little access to voice. Notice, this is a throat voice, and this is a voice with diaphragm. You see, because our body is a delivery system for our voice, what about when we're not really sure about the audience in front of us? Our mind is racing. I'm not tense right now, so I have access to the full range of my voice. But if I was tense, that range would narrow. And you see, what happens is that our audience recognizes something is happening with us. So if you're nervous, do some breathing. Bring your body down a little bit. It's my responsibility as the speaker, as the presenter, to be using everything that I have in this moment to engage you. And what do I have? I've got my body, I've got my face, and I've got my voice. What about if we're nervous? What about if we're afraid that they're going to ask us a question that we won't know how to answer? We want to make sure that everybody can hear us very clearly and that they're not going to ask us any questions that we can't answer. And in fact, we speed up our speaking so that we can move through that information very, very quickly. And we don't want to stop so that anyone could ask us a question or find a way to poke a hole in our theories. Now, did you hear any of that? Probably not a lot of it. When our body changes and our voice changes, even if they've never met us before, they can hear those subtle cues. They can hear the tightness in the voice, or they can hear that uptick at the end of a sentence that just shouldn't be there. Or they can hear the monotone that feels odd given the conversation they might have been having with you just before that presentation. So we give away so much with our language and our vocalization. And yet we've got access to so much. We can show passion by speeding up and using our hands and really leaning in. Or we can slow it down. And by doing that, getting everybody to lean in. And as we soften and pause, notice how you're listening to me, but wondering where I'm going with this. The pause is the secret weapon of every speaker. Notice how animated I typically am. This is me. This is very authentic to who I am. If you met me on the street, I would be talking with my hands, moving my head, and laughing with my full body. That is who I am. And so for me, because this is something that I've done a lot of practice on, I use it in my speaking and presenting. Because authenticity is important to me. It is one of my values. You may have a value on knowledge or experience. What does that sound like for you? Because when we find the place where we are most comfortable with it, our body responds. The more that you are showing up in your place of authenticity with as much conviction as you have for what it is you're doing, and you are believing what you're saying, your audience will then believe you too. You can bring your audience in. You can engage them and enroll them in what you're saying so that they make the changes that you want them to make or buy into the thing you're selling. But if you show up afraid or not believing what you're about to say, because perhaps you're deep in imposter syndrome or thinking that, that the thing that you're selling isn't quite as good as you thought it was, they're going to know. They may not know what it is going on, but they're going to know that there's something not quite right. And they probably will say, I can't put my finger on it. I just don't know. I don't trust that person. And that's not the answer that you want from that room. Find the place that you can show up from strength, from belief, because your voice, your body, your face, these are the places that your audience is going to look to you to say, do I believe this person? Or are they telling me something that maybe they don't believe? Choice is yours. Love to hear from you on how you use your body language to influence the audiences you're in front of. Do you smile a whole lot? Do you speak with lots of inflection like I do? Or maybe you've got a whole different way that I don't even know about. Tell me in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. And don't forget, like this video and subscribe to our channel.